What if I told you that 90% of what you've learned about copywriting will be completely useless by 2026? That the magic formulas, classic persuasion techniques, the structures you've religiously applied, all of that will soon be a thing of the past. This isn't a pessimistic prediction, it's a wake-up call. Stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal isn't a theory, it's a survival guide for anyone who wants their words to still have an impact in the future. In this video, we're going to unpack the 7 pillars of copywriting that truly converts by 2026. Not superficial tricks, but deep mindset shifts that will separate those who succeed from those who become invisible. To illustrate this, let me tell you a story. A story inspired by real events, the story of Leo. In 2024, Leo was a talented copywriter, but he was burnt out. His texts, once so effective, were losing their impact day by day. Click-through rates plummeted, conversions tanked. He was on the verge of giving up, convinced that artificial intelligence would simply replace him. He felt obsolete, like a craftsman facing a factory. But instead of throwing in the towel, he made a radical decision: he would stop fighting the future and start building it. His journey to relearn how to write is our roadmap. Hang tight, we're starting with the first rule that changed everything for him. Chapter 1: The End of Mass Persuasion. Leo had learned to write for the masses. Mass emails, generic sales pages. He used arguments designed to appeal to the widest audience. But by 2026, the masses no longer exist. There are only individuals. The first key he discovered was hyper-personalization. Not just putting a first name in an email. No, we're talking about contextual, behavioral, and emotional personalization. He understood that people no longer want to be talked at, they want to be responded to. For example, instead of sending an email saying, "Discover our new solution," he started scripting messages that said, "Hello Sarah, I noticed you spent 10 minutes on our pricing page yesterday without completing your purchase." Perhaps point 3 wasn't clear? Here's a short video explaining it. See the difference? It's no longer a monologue, it's the beginning of a dialogue. He went from using a flamethrower to a surgeon's scalpel. And that was his first victory against obsolescence. But it was only the beginning of his transformation. Chapter 2: Radical Authenticity. We all learn to polish our words, to show the best angle, to hide flaws. Traditional copywriting is often the art of presenting a perfect, idealized version. Leo excelled at this art. But he noticed something strange: the more perfect his texts were, the less people believed them. By 2026, the audience is overwhelmed and overinformed. They have a built-in BS detector. The second key, therefore, is radical authenticity. Leo stumbled upon the story of a brand that, after a failed product launch, published a blog post titled, "We completely messed up." Here's why. The feedback was incredible. People didn't criticize, they applauded the transparency. Inspired, Leo convinced one of his clients to send an email after a bug on their website. Instead of the usual corporate message, he wrote, "We broke everything." Literally. The team is on deck, caffeine in hand, to fix it all. We're really sorry for the inconvenience. The open rate skyrocketed. Customers responded with messages of support. He understood that perfection creates distance, while vulnerability creates connection. People no longer buy a perfect product, they buy into a human story, with its successes and failures. Chapter 3: Conversational Copywriting. For years, words were optimized for computer screens. Headlines, subheadings, bullet points. Leo was a master of structure. But the future of interaction isn't just a screen. It's a conversation. With voice assistants, chatbots, instant messaging. People are no longer just reading, they're conversing with interfaces. The third key is to write like you speak. Leo had to unlearn the formal language of the web. He took one of his long, structured sales pages and rewrote it as if he were explaining the product to a friend in a coffee shop. Sentences became shorter. Questions more frequent. The tone more direct and personal. For example, the phrase "our innovative solution enables the synergistic optimization of your workflows" became so, basically, it saves you from losing 3 hours a day juggling 10 applications. Does that resonate with you? It's no longer just writing, it's conversation scripting. And this change is crucial because soon, your first point of contact with a client won't be a web page, but a talking AI. And it will speak using the words you've given it. But even with the right tone, a crucial element was still missing. Chapter 4: Value Before the Sale. Copywriting has long been synonymous with the art of selling with words. Leo was proud of his ability to close a sale. But the mindset has changed. The audience is bombarded with offers. Distrust is the norm. Trying to sell too soon is like proposing on the first date, it'll scare them away. The fourth key is to provide value before asking for anything in return. Copywriting in 2026 is service-oriented copywriting. It's no longer about convincing, but about helping. Leo changed his approach. Instead of writing a page to sell productivity software, he first created an interactive mini-guide: diagnose the #1 time waster in your day in 5 questions. It was free, useful, and asked for nothing. Thousands of people used it. At the end of the diagnostic, a simple sentence: if you want to eliminate that time waster for good, our tool is designed for that. The conversion rate was far better than any aggressive sales page. He understood that trust isn't demanded, it's earned. And by 2026, trust is the most valuable currency. And that's when Leo understood the most counterintuitive rule of all. Chapter 5: Co-piloting with artificial intelligence. At first, Leo saw artificial intelligence as his sworn enemy, the one that would steal his job. He tried to ignore it, then to compete with it, to no avail. Until he understood his mistake. Artificial intelligence isn't a replacement, it's a co-pilot. That's the 5th key. Tomorrow's copywriter doesn't fight against artificial intelligence, they collaborate with it. The mistake is asking it to write. The right approach is to ask it to research, analyze, and synthesize. Leo began using AI tools to analyze thousands of customer reviews in seconds, extracting true frustrations, the exact words used by customers, and their greatest hopes. The AI did the grunt work, the large-scale research that a human could never do. And with this raw data, this deep understanding of the audience, Leo could then do what AI cannot: create an emotional connection, tell a moving story, find the unique and creative angle. He stopped being a mere writer and became a strategist, a psychologist, and an artist, augmented by the power of the machine. AI gave him the what, and he focused on the how and the why. And that led him to his next big revelation. Chapter 6: Immersive Storytelling. Storytelling has always been at the heart of copywriting. But by 2026, the audience no longer just wants to hear a story. They want to experience it. The 6th key is the shift from storytelling to story living. Formats are evolving. Text alone is no longer enough. Tomorrow's copywriting is multisensory. It integrates video, audio, interactive experiences. Leo began thinking beyond the page. Instead of writing a blog post about an entrepreneur's challenges, he scripted a series of short vertical videos, where each video presented a dilemma with a choice for the viewer to make. Instead of writing a sales email, he designed a sequence where the first email was text, the second a short personal audio message from the founder, and the third an invitation to an interactive product simulation. He learned to write not just to be read, but to be experienced. The word becomes the starting point for a much richer experience. It's no longer just about finding the right words, but about orchestrating them in the right format, at the right time, to create true immersion. Which brings us to the culmination of this story, the ultimate skill that brings all the others together. Chapter 7: Seismic Clarity. We live in a world of noise. A permanent digital cacophony. Attention is the rarest resource. In this context, complexity is poison. The seventh and final key, the most important of all, is seismic clarity. It's the ability to distill a complex idea into a sentence so simple and powerful that it shakes the very foundations of belief. Leo spent years learning complex turns of phrase, rich vocabulary, sophisticated structures. He had to unlearn it all. He worked for a client selling highly advanced cybersecurity technology. The initial description was an incomprehensible technical paragraph. After days of work, Leo returned with a single sentence: "We make the internet safe, even for your grandparents." It was simple. It was emotional. Everyone instantly understood the mission and value. That sentence became their slogan, their compass. By 2026, genius won't lie in complexity, but in radical simplicity. Your ability to cut through the noise with a message of absolute clarity will be your greatest superpower. It's the crowning skill of all. Hyper-personalization, authenticity, conversation, all of it is useless if the final message isn't crystal clear. In summary, Leo's journey has taught us 7 fundamental lessons for the future of copywriting. 1. Move from mass to individual with hyper-personalization. 2. Abandon perfection for radical authenticity. 3. Write not for pages, but for conversations. 4. Help before you sell, by offering value first. 5. Stop fighting AI, and co-pilot with it to augment your creativity. 6. Stop just telling stories, and make them come alive through immersive formats. And finally, 7. Master the supreme art of seismic clarity to cut through the surrounding noise. This isn't just a list of techniques. It's a new manifesto. A new way of thinking. Words are no longer mere tools of persuasion, they are bridges to create connection, trust, and understanding. Tomorrow's copywriting is less a science of selling and more an art of human connection, assisted by technology. The future doesn't belong to the best technicians, but to the most human communicators. So, the question isn't whether AI will replace you. The real question is, are you ready to become the kind of copywriter it can never replace? Follow us for your dose of business motivation. Don't forget to subscribe.